Hey, welcome to the second course for NF's song Intro from his debut album in 2015 called Mansion. I'm musically malnourished. You're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. This is where we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music. So let's hop on over and give this song a closer look. All right, so here we go. The music video for Intro was first published through MTV's website. This song was used for a promo for Fox's Empire and featured on the soundtrack from Madden NFL 16. Very cool for NF. And I did see down here there is a music video, so we'll work to get that up on Patreon. Says, what did NF say about being on Madden 16? It's an amazing opportunity. So cool to be an artist, to have your song featured in a video game like that. EA heard Intro and they thought it was a great fit. It's really an intense, crazy song, and it just works really good for football. I mean, the Madden games are some of the biggest games on the planet. Looking forward to playing it on the tour bus. Very cool. All right, let's get into it. I'm looking like I'm going to get it. You probably don't get it. I come in your house with a microphone, looking like I'm about to set up a show in your kitchen. I'm out of my mind, but I feel like I'm in it. This is interesting. I come in your house with a microphone looking like I'm about to set up a show in your kitchen. I wonder if this is really just speaking to like releasing the album. And so like he's in our house. He's where we are with a microphone. I'm out of my mind, but I feel like I'm in it. Cool bar. So that idea of if you're out of your mind, like you're crazy, but using it in the sense out of my mind, in the sense of like I'm taking this step, I'm doing this thing, but I'm not out of my mind. Like I know what I'm doing. I have my faculties about me. So that's just a cool way to look at that. If I never make it, don't make any difference. I'm still going to kill it. You know what the deal is. Ain't never no chillin' when I'm in the building. NF is a monster. I am a villain. I love this thought, right? And I think this is the attitude that causes people to make it. And I think, unfortunately, sometimes the industries can shut people out. I listened to an audiobook several years ago about, it might have been called The Perfect Mile, but it was really like three runners competing for a sub 5 mile, I believe it was. And one of the guys, I don't know if partly it was like he didn't play very well with the like sponsors and the powers that be that were over, track and field and stuff. But ultimately, even though he had a lot of talent, he kind of got shut out and wasn't really able to be allowed to be in the running, pun intended. And so in the same sense, you hope that people that have a lot of talent, that have a lot of drive, and that keep pushing will get that breakthrough moment. And so that's kind of the same thing he's saying here is like, I'm going to bring everything I have because that's all I know to do. And understanding, I think that those go together, right? So before you make it, you got to act like you made it. And then hopefully that becomes reality. My music is sick and you don't know what ill is. You better get back. I don't write any filler. I write what I feel, and I'm feeling a million. So you better shh, ain't quiet, you hear it? I'm about to lose it. I'm on a whole different level of music. Don't treat me like I have no clue how to do this. You better rethink what you're thinking and move it. So yeah, I mean, there could be this idea. Here, we'll go down here because this obviously gives context. Picture me writing when I was a kid trying to make it in music. I think it's crazy. I spent all my money on studio time trying to get out my music so people could play it. I wonder if it gives us some insight. In future songs, he explains he didn't have too much money when he was younger, and this could be a reference to how he was poor when he was younger, saying he spent all he had on music just to chase his dream. Yeah, but I also think in the context of what it's being said is like he invested everything he could into trying to get better and trying to get his music out there and make his mark. And maybe at the time it didn't necessarily get to the level that he was able to get here with Mansion, but had he not done that, he wouldn't have sharpened his sword, sharpened his gifts, maybe made some connections, had demo content where somebody could at least see like, oh, I think we've got something here that we can invest in. That's kind of what it speaks to me. I keep it 100. My music was terrible. Learned to get better the more that I made it. Go back to my Moments album. Most of you people, you probably don't know what I'm saying. So this whole idea, right? Don't treat me like I have no clue how to do this. I wanted to look at the rest of that because it obviously gives context. So maybe he seems new on the scene. Maybe he seems young, but what's the expression? I'm no spring chicken. I think that's the one. Hold on. Expression, no spring chicken. Okay. The expression no spring chicken means someone is no longer younger or has passed their youthful prime. It's often used to gently point out that a person is older, sometimes implying they're not as physically capable as they used to be. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. That's normally used in a negative context. But what I mean is this idea that like he's been working at it. He's been getting better. And so, sure, I may be new to the scene, but you don't realize the thousands of hours that I've put into working on this. And so now he just gets the opportunity to really show that. And the recognition that like he's fine saying the early stuff he created he doesn't really like. And I think I remember this reel from Ed Sheeran, and he talked about songwriting kind of like turning on a faucet somewhere. I don't know if you've ever turned on a faucet in a building and it runs dirty water, but oftentimes if you'll let it continue running, the fresh water that's coming down will eventually push out all the dirty water and you'll start running clean water. And he kind of talks about songwriting in that sense that you're going to write bad songs. He writes bad songs. Now, somebody that reaches a certain level of talent, even their bad songs probably are pretty good songs. But that idea of like just putting in the work, just doing the thing, and what's running out may not be great. You may never use it. It may never see the light of day, but you can't discount what it's doing in you. And so I think we can all apply that in different areas of our lives. Like you got to put pen to paper. You've got to step out and try to do a project. You got to try to do something new to innovate, and it may not be perfect at first. It may never see the light of day, but if you iterate on it and you keep making the necessary changes, eventually you might get clean water running out. I grab on that microphone, jumping crowd. They was laughing at me. Who they laughing at now? Nothing wrong with that. I laugh at myself. Some people, they looking like, wow, the moment you told me that you was a rapper, I couldn't believe it. You believe it now? Step in the booth and I murder it. You never heard of a rapper that kill it like I do. I sleep on the couch in the studio, stay up till 3 a.m. and write till I get more. There's something about this, and I don't know, in 2015, I guess here, let's learn a little bit about NF because he's married. Okay. So yeah, look at this. NF was married in September of 2018. This album came out in 2015. I think NF and I, he's a few years younger than me. So he's 34. So in 2015, 10 years ago, he would have been, what, 24? Yeah. Because if he's 34, 10 years ago. Let's go. Quick math. So at 24, if you're not married, I was married. I got married at 20, right before I turned 21. But, if you're in your early 20s and you're not married, you don't have children, you've got like one goal on your mind that you're passionately pursuing, that idea of like Yeah. And that's what I always encourage young people, not to discourage them from making commitments early. I'm so glad I got married when I did. We knew we wanted to build a family, so we had children pretty quickly, and I love my life. But, especially 17, 18, 19, 20, and if you're not married in your early 20s, man, take all the opportunities that you can. You get an opportunity to go do an internship, in another state or another country or things like that. Just you have this ability to be very fluid. Your living expenses are hopefully low, and that can be challenging depending on where the economy is. But the ability to go sleep in the studio and just pour yourself into this one thing is like, look for those opportunities that you have in life. And even after you have commitments, you might find these windows or these periods when it's like, okay, now's the time. But granted, you will always have kind of extra things that you have to give attention to, responsibilities. And so, yeah, at that time, he wasn't married. And so the ability to just absorb himself in that was there. The moment I wake up, I feel like I don't even sleep and I'm ready to put out my record, which thank you for buying. Maybe you burned it, but either way, I'm going to wreck it. That's funny. Maybe you pirated my music. I look at the industry, look what it did to me. You'll never make it if you never grind. You put a whole lot of money into it, you better be ready to give it your time. I look at the past awful years of my life, and I promise you, I have been giving it mine. Let's continue to learn about NF a little bit. Because from my understanding, even in Fear, he has a song called Home that centers on just his difficulty in losing his grandmother. My understanding is that he had a rough home life, and essentially his grandparents kind of stepped in and raised him and were just a very significant part of his life. And so it actually does say here, NF's teenage years were very rough. His mom died in 2009 from a drug overdose, as described on NF's emotional 2016 track, How Could You Leave Us? NF's parents also filed a divorce, and he was physically abused by his stepfather, as described on his 2015 track, Mansion. Also, NF has had many rough relationships, as described on I Just Want to Know. In a 2015 testimonial video, NF described the hurt he experienced as a teenager. I grew up in a broken home, and anybody out there who's grown up in that, that it can have a huge effect on your life. My mom was addicted to prescription pills. It's a crazy and scary thing because my mama had 3 kids, my 2 sisters, and she chose those over us. So I grew up and have grown up feeling like I had a mom who didn't care about us. That's a crazy thing to feel. My parents had divorced. I grew up with a lot of anger issues. I was physically abused. You don't have to raise your hand. So yeah, he definitely had some tough years. I look at the past awful years of my life, and I promise you I have been giving it mine. Try to keep up with this. I'm not a puppet. No string on my back. I'm one of a kind. Music is changing. No way to tame this. I'm an artist. Look what I painted. Hang up the caution tape. I'm dangerous. That's cool. Because obviously you put up caution tape around dangerous areas. Does anyone know where my brain is? Rappers are comfortable knowing they're famous. Here, let me get lined up here. But I don't really care what your name is, and I really don't care if I'm nameless. Y'all just driving around. I know where my lane is, right? So this continues to accentuate the passion that he's bringing to it. It's not about necessarily making a name for himself. Of course, he wants to reach a place where, like, financially he can support his art, but it's like this comes second, right? The reason, now not always, sometimes in agencies and stuff, they might put forward an artist that's just commercially, for whatever reason, the best move. But I think the ones that garner the most loyal fan base, and they're just genuine, they're really in it for the love of it. And it's always a challenge to not get lost in the career of it or the money, but to hold on to that thing that's like, this is why I began it. This is why I did it. And as it gets bigger and it gets more complicated, that's harder to hold on to. Cocky? No, I'm competitive. This is a job for me. It's adrenaline. Don't try to box me in. I'm Mayweather. Obviously, Floyd Mayweather is a boxer. I come in the ring. My punches are way better. I never drink, but I live in these bars. I loved that line. The moment you blink is the moment you lost. Say you a king who put you in charge. Don't care what you think. I'll break in your car, climb on the top of it, sound the alarm, and wake up the neighborhood, rap in your yard, and carry the speakers on both of my arms. Until you keep sleeping on me, I'm at large. Man, he is showing up to make a ruckus. It is an intro for sure. Enough with the jokes. I ain't joking. You come in a session with me, I'm going to show you what dope is. And when I say dope, I ain't talking about smoking. I'm talking about music that has an emotion. I look at this mic. It's part of my family. Take it away. I'm coming to find you. That's cool. I've been through a lot in my life. Could have used a Liam Neeson. Jeez. Taken reference. That would have been a fun place to put that in. I've been through a lot in my life, and it's hard to get people to listen when no one's behind you. And then Capital came in the picture and gave me a shot, and look at it now. So he is giving a nod to the idea that many times, within the industry, there are obviously outliers, but within the industry, it's hard unless somebody can get behind you and say, no, we believe in this. We're willing to bankroll it. And so, you can't always completely put your hand up to, I don't want to say corporations, but you know what I'm saying. You can't always just be like, Now you have to be true to yourself, but also look for the opportunities where if you really want to get your message out, and it's a fine line where you really want to get your message out. You really want to get this thing started, because I don't know what he ends up doing with his music down the road. We'll see. But maybe that's what he needed to do to get started. And then once he's moving, and once his name's out there, and once he has, maybe the money of his own to invest, then you might be able to move more independent. I look at the team I'm dealing with. These people ain't playing around. Looking back, I got to laugh. I was in a whole different place a year ago. I look at the math, I look at the map, and thank you, God, I swear it's a miracle. Indeed. And I'm sorry, but I got to leave. But man, this track was beautiful. The least I can do if I murder a beat is take time to go to its funeral. I love that line. Very cool. Great start to this journey. If you have any thoughts, or maybe you saw something different, let me know in the comments, and let me know what you think of this song. But I'm excited. So thanks for being with me for this one. I hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.